So what if I told you that most brackets aren't destroyed by crazy buzzer beaters or miracle half-court shots, but that they're destroyed before the tournament even starts? Welcome back to TKO Takes, and we're getting closer and closer to Selection Sunday when the committee reveals the field of 68, and millions of people convince themselves that this is the year they're finally building the perfect bracket. But before you fill yours out, I want to save you from 3 of the biggest myths that absolutely kill brackets every single March. And if you're a college basketball fan, this is the week to subscribe because I'm dropping a ton of March Madness content. I'll discuss some underrated, overrated, and the best Cinderella teams going into March, as well as several fun bracket videos. So let's get into this. Let's start with myth number 1, which is you have to pick a 12 over a 5. Every single year someone says it, you have to pick a 12 over a 5. It always happens. And yes, historically a 12 seed has beaten a 5 seed about 35% of the time, but flip that stat around. That means 65% of the time the 5 seed wins. So if you're blindly circling a 12 seed just because it's trendy, you're ignoring the fact that the favorite still wins nearly 2/3 of the time. And this is where people mess up. They build a bracket based on seeding trends instead of matchups. Basketball isn't played with a number next to a team's name. It's played with, guard play, bigs, rebounding, coaching adjustments, defensive efficiency, and stylistic clashes. So last year my bracket finished in the 97th percentile, and it wasn't because I blindly followed seed trends. It was because I broke down how the teams matched up, and it did wonders for me. When picking tight games like a 12 over 5, you have to think which team forces turnovers, which one has really good defense, does the team struggle against bigs? That's how you pick an upset, not because social media says you have to. If you want to pick a 12 over 5, that's perfectly okay, but make sure it's about the matchup, not the myth. And then myth number 2 is that most upsets happen early. People think the first round is just pure chaos. They imagine 15 over 2, 13 over 4, and brackets being busted within the first 24 hours, but statistically, the higher seeds most often get knocked out in the round of 32 and beyond. By that point, the weaker teams are gone, the matchups get tighter, and a 1 seed losing to a 16 seed is extremely rare. But a 1 seed losing to a 4 or 5 or an 8 seed happens far more often. A 2 seed falling to a 7 or 10 in the second round, way more common than people think. Early rounds eliminate the weak, later rounds expose the flawed teams, the flawed higher seeded teams. So instead of going upset crazy in round 1, be calculated and then be bold later. That's a smart approach. And then finally, myth number 3 is that you need a Cinderella in your Final Four. And this one's emotional for people because everyone wants to be the genius who predicted the next Loyola Chicago, the next FAU, the next VCU, and the next St. Peter's. And those runs were truly incredible. It's what makes March magical. But the reality is that since 1985, the vast majority of the Final Four teams have been 1, 2, or 3 seeds. National champions are overwhelmingly top seeds. Double-digit seeds making deep runs are extremely rare, and no double-digit seed has ever won the national championship. So when people throw an 11 seed in their Final Four just because it would be cool, they're sacrificing massive point value. Most bracket scoring systems double each round, Final Four picks are huge, and championship picks are everything. So if you want a Cinderella, the smarter play is to take them to the Sweet 16 and maybe the Elite 8 if the path actually makes sense for them. So putting them in the Final Four just be different. It's not strategy, it's just foolishness in my opinion. But that's just me. So to recap everything, you don't blindly pick a 12 over 5, you don't assume all the chaos happens in round 1, and you definitely don't force a Cinderella into your Final Four just because it feels fun. March Madness isn't random, although at times it definitely feels random, but the majority of the time it rewards guard play, depth, coaching, and matchup advantages. And if you want to build a bracket that actually competes instead of surviving the first weekend, you have to think differently than the average fan. And that's what we're doing all week on TKO Takes. So make sure to like the video, subscribe, and I have a video coming out every day until the 19th about March Madness. So you'll be eating good if you subscribe. But thank you all so much, and God bless you all.